Hey guys, and welcome to Talk Time with Kit and Karen. I'm Kit.
And I'm Karen.
Today's topic is climate change, or more so how we humans have affected climate change.
First off, what is climate change and when did it start?
Climate change is the process of our Earth heating up. It is also referred to as global warming. Scientists started to notice a drastic change in our climate around the 1950s, when there was a noticeable jump in the CO2 levels. There has always been carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, but up until the 1950s, there wasn't enough to be concerned about.
Our story starts in 1896 in Sweden with this guy, Svante Arrhenius, a chemist. Arrhenius is the first person to figure out that putting CO2 into the atmosphere could make the Earth warmer. But nobody takes Arrhenius very seriously until 1938, when an engineer named Guy Stewart Callender decides to look at global temperatures recorded over the past 50 years or so and figures out, hey, what do you know, the Earth is getting warmer. War breaks out in 1939. Ends in 1945, and as the world's economy recovers, industrial production goes into overdrive. In the 1950s, scientists start looking more closely at the possible effects of CO2 emissions on global temperatures. For the first time, we start to realize that we could have a major problem on our hands. But the Cold War is in full swing, and we have more immediate existential threats to think about. In the 1960s, the cooling trend continues, and there's even some fringe speculation that we could be heading for a new ice age. That all changes in the mid-70s when temperatures start going up again. The phrase global warming makes its first appearance in a 1975 research paper. Temperatures keep rising throughout the 80s, and 1988 is the hottest year ever recorded to that point. In 1995, an international group of scientists issues the first public statement that there is a discernible human influence on global climate. In 2001, they predict that 21st century warming will leave the 20th century in the dust. Over the next decade, some of the anticipated effects of global warming start happening. Things like rising oceans, intense droughts and heat waves, and powerful storms. The 15 hottest years in history have all occurred since 1998, and 2015 is on track to be the hottest year ever recorded.
Some of the things that contribute to climate change are greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and methane. According to the European Environment Agency, greenhouse gases can affect climate change by altering the incoming solar radiation and the infrared radiations leaving, which affect the Earth's balance.
Carbon dioxide is a very important part of our atmosphere, but when there is too much of it, it can cause problems. Methane is a type of hydrocarbon gas which can be produced naturally and because of human activities. It can be made from waste, decomposing, and from cows. Methane is a very active greenhouse gas, but it isn't very bountiful. Nitrous oxide is a very powerful greenhouse gas. It is produced by soil cultivation.
As we talked about earlier, the Earth's carbon dioxide levels have always been up and down. However, it was not until the early 1900s when we noticed a spike. Coincidentally, this was around the time that humans started using fossil fuels like coal as fuel.
From 1950 to now, we have gained about 80 parts of carbon dioxide per million in the atmosphere. Prior to that, in the entire history of the world, the levels had never surpassed 300. As of 2018, we are now at 400.
This is also the fastest the levels have ever grown. Speaking of speed, the average temperature is also rising at an alarmingly fast rate. It's 10 times faster than the last ice age recovery rate.
So what does that mean? Ever since humans have started excessive manufacturing, the carbon dioxide levels, water, and temperature have all risen. This is telling us that this is all happening for a reason, and that reason is us.
Scientists at NASA have even gone as far to say as there is now a 95% chance that global warming is a direct result of human activity.
Wow, if you're about to drive over a bridge that had a 95% chance of crashing, would you do it? If you said yes, you may be one of the 7% of Americans who are certain climate change is not going on.
According to CNN, our average sea level has risen 8 inches since 1900. Half of that has risen in the past 25 years alone.
90% of scientists agree that climate change is caused by humans.
If you don't agree with 90% of the smartest people in the world, you may need to reevaluate your views.
Calm down there, Karen. Some people really do believe that climate change isn't a big issue that humans have contributed to. I know it seems silly, but you can't judge them for having a difference of opinions.
True. However, here on Talk Time with Kit and Karen, we do believe that climate change is a big issue that will only continue to get worse.
Yeah, did you know that it isn't just the obvious things that affect climate change, like fossil fuels? 15% of carbon dioxide emissions are caused by deforestation and changes in how our land is used. High levels of pollen and aeroallergens also cause the temperature to rise.
Wow, that's shocking. Who knew pollen could hurt our environment?
Other than the Earth's temperature rising, climate change can have other devastating effects like water shortages, coastal flooding, heavy rains, droughts, and even health issues.
But don't worry, there are things that we can do to help slow down climate change.
Yes, you can change your form of transportation. So instead of driving a car, you could carpool, take public transportation, ride a bike, or even walk. These are all ways you can reduce your carbon emissions.
Consume less and waste less. Don't buy as much packaged food and bring your own bags to the grocery store. Maybe even think about investing in a metal or glass straw.
If you're up for the challenge, you could even consider going vegetarian, because preparing cows to be consumed takes a lot of energy and resources. Cows also produce methane, which is not good for the environment.
Something as simple as starting a garden could make a huge difference.
Well, now that you've learned a little more about climate change and how you can help, go tell others.
That's
it. Bye.